Okay, let's turn this beautiful emerald green blanket. Let's add some pizzazz to this. We're gonna add some pizzazz to this beautiful, already it's beautiful the way that it is, this emerald green, but let's pump that volume up a little bit. How about that? So we're gonna add by adding a border. So I decided that today I wanted to add, make it a thick border. So today I'm just gonna start right here. I'm gonna take it and make look like I'm making a knot, but I'm just actually just folding it over. And then I'm gonna add it to the first two loops. I call it the V look. I'm gonna add to that. Both of them is kind of thick, so maybe a little complicated getting it through, but it does work. So I pull it through, and I want to keep my two fingers. Then I want to make sure that I leave enough of a tail in the back to when I get ready to fasten off. So I'm just going to take it, and then it doesn't matter which way it go because it's going to be twisted all the way through, which is going to add more beauty to it. So I got my two fingers here, and then I'm just going to go to the next loop, and I'm going to pull it through the next loop. And now I have two sets of loops. Looks like four because it's double on my two fingers. And then I am going to pull those through both of those loops. Like I said, it is going to be a little tight because it's double. So I still now have just one loop on my finger. I'm gonna call it one loop even though there's two, but it's just one loop on my finger. And then I'm going to go through the next V on my blanket, and I'm going to pull it through, and it gives me the two again. And then I'm just gonna take this and pull it through like that. Have my two again. And then you're just gonna continue that all the way to the end. And when we get to the end, there's a little added step that I will show you. But I'm going to go through the next V. I'm going to pull my loops through. It gives me the two on my finger. Then I'm just going to take the working yarn. This is called the working yarn. I'm going to take the working yarn, and I'm going to pull it through all four of the yarn. And then I'm just going to continue. I'll go to the next V. I'll do the same thing. I'll pull it up. Got four on there. I'll pull my working yarn through. There we go again. Go to the next one. Pull it through. And then if you get too much yarn, like I just did, you want to try to keep it that with the two fingers so that your work will look even, won't look lopsided. Okay, so I still got my two fingers. I'm going to the next one. I'm going to pull my working yarn through. That gives me the four or the two. Then I'm going to pull my working yarn through all the yarn. There's two more. Go to the next one. Pull my working yarn through. Take my working yarn and pull through all of my yarn. There we go again. Take my working yarn and pull it through. Got four. Then I'm going to take my working yarn and pull it through all four. There we go. You can use, you don't have to do double. I just wanted to do double on this one to just give it a little more pizzazz, but you can just use one yarn. You don't have to double up. Like I said, I just chose to do the two, wanted to see what it looks like. So we're gonna go through our V, pull it up through that V. You got your 4. You're gonna take your working yarn and pull it through. Okay. All right. And I will be back with you when I get to the end. Okay, I'm coming to the end of this row, and I am going to continue the process that I was doing. So I just made my last one on this row. So what I was going to do, what's going to be a little bit different, is we're going to go back into that same space that we just made this original loop. We're going to go back into that, and we're going to pull the working yarn through, and we're going to make another loop inside of the same loop. And the reason why I do that is so that we can have a clean pretty edge on the sides of the blanket, so the blanket will look the same. So we'll have that nice cute curve there. So I just finished that. So what you want to do is turn your blanket. I just turned the blanket, and now we're going to go down the side of the blanket. And on the side of the blanket, we also have these V's as well. You can see the V's going down the side of the blanket. So we're just going to go into that very next loop, and we're going to continue to do the same thing that we were doing. Bring the working yarn through, and we're just going to continue to do the same process. The only difference was on the corners, we're going to add 2 into that last. Once we get to a corner, we're adding we're doing it twice. So here we go. We're just going to continue our process. Just pulling the 2 loops up, going into the next V. And pulling it up. You have your 4 there, or your 2. And like I said, that this one, I am doing it double. I am using 2 different color yarns. This is just what I wanted to do. So you go through the next V, you pull your working yarn through it. You have your colors. You want to take your working yarn and pull through all. Okay, then same process. You want to go through the V, grab that working yarn, pull it up. You have 4, and then you just pull it up. Like I said, it'll feel a little tight and a little uncomfortable until you get used to it. But like I said, if you wanted to, you don't have to do the double like I'm doing. You could just use 1. And it'll feel a lot better. But I just wanted to add a little bit more to it and see what it looks like. I usually work with 1, but this will be my first time doing the double. Just wanted to see what it will look like. So we're just going to go through there, go through the working yarn. There's your 2. Go through the V, pull up through the V. You have your 4, and then you want to pull the working yarn through it all. And my yarn is getting tangled, but anyway, so we're going to do that all the way down to... Okay, I'm coming back up to the last hook, and I realized that you couldn't really see what I was doing. I was off camera. The camera wasn't set right. So I've made my loop into this um, already. So what I want to do, because I want to get the edge to look like that, I'm going to go back into the same loop again right here and do another single crochet is what it's called. Okay, so now I have 2 loops into that one. Okay, so like I said, the only time you want to do that is just in the corner so you can get that perfect round edge. Okay, so now I'm going to turn my blanket. Hopefully the camera won't go off this time. I'm going to turn my blanket where I can work on the other side. And now we're just going to continue like normal, going through that first loop, pulling it up, bringing your working yarn through like normal. And then you're just going to continue to go through the V's all the way around your blanket. Okay, and you're just going to continue that process until you get back to the beginning. Okay, and once we get back to the beginning of our blanket, I will come back on camera to show you how to finish off your blanket. Okay, so we're just going to continue the same process, pulling it up, pulling the loop up, pulling it through, bringing your working yarn through all 4. Okay, so we'll continue that process until we get to the end of our blanket. And then once we get to the end of the blanket, I'll come back and I'll show you how to fasten it off. Okay, I'm coming up on my last stitch here. And I'm in a corner, so I'm going to pull it through the first time, the yarn. Okay, and then I'm going to go through that same loop. We'll go through that same loop and pull it through so that my corners can look the same. So we put 2 loops in that 1 stitch in a corner. Okay, all right, so now we're at the point where we're going to close it off. Let's see if I can get my blanket turned here. Hope y'all can see this because I can't tell what I'm doing. Okay, so what I'm going to do, we went through that stitch twice. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut off my corners here because I got all my green cover up. So I'm just going to cut off a little tail. Hope y'all can see. Cut that off. Okay. I'm going to bring it through here. Bring it through the 2 that I had on, oops. Yes, I should have. The 2 that I had on my loop. I mean, still on my, I think I'm crocheting. I'm not crocheting. Okay, so this can be a little challenging. So I just went through the last two that I had on my hook, and then the very first one that I start, I'm just gonna go through both of those, and then I'm gonna pull it through. It's not gonna be as perfect as the first one, but as the rest of the blanket, but that's how you pull it through and you get your edge. And then from the back, I'm just gonna take the back of this blanket and I'm gonna weave in my end. Well, I'm going to tie a knot. A tight knot. And see, you can't even tell. I'm gonna do it again. Tie another knot. And there we go. And a lot of people from this point will go ahead and just clip the ends, but I'm gonna leave enough on there because I just don't trust that. And I'm just gonna cut there, cut there, and then I will hook them together if I did it right. Just a little bit. This thick yarn is kind of thin, so I'll just take and do the burn method. And then, ooh, that's a little hot. So yeah, be careful with that. Just do it like that. And then I take it and cinch it. Like I said, you do not have to do this part. You can just cut it close. It's just me. I like that little extra protection. Like that little extra. You don't have to do that. But then you do it like that. And there we go. So that doesn't look too bad. Even that way. So there you have it. And now I have this beautiful blanket with the border. I'll take it off of the thing so you can see the whole blanket. It's pretty. And there you have it. You have this beautiful blanket